on Nova Legends podcast, I have Woodson Coach Le Towe, who in her second year at Woodson has already got them in the state tournament, state quarterfinals. Amazing job, Coach. Congratulations. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. So the last time we talked, I talked with you and your husband Daryl, legendary Princess Anne player, won a state from the 757. Uh, uh, we mentioned leaving Lewis and going to Woodson, and it's tough to leave kids that you invest in, and you don't want them to feel like you're leaving them. It's a really tough situation.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But obviously, for sporting reasons, you made the right decision. You have the kind of talent that can get you where you want to go. How has the transition been? And does this team, kind of make it all worth it, all the kind of the difficult moments you must have gone through?
Yeah, I mean, the blessing that I have is that being a coach these all these years that I've been doing this, I've created really good relationships with all of my kids. So even though I transitioned from Lewis to Woodson, I have Lewis kids that come to Woodson games to support. And I have Lewis parents that still come. So it's like I've always cultivated and tried to create a family environment where the kids know, I might not be there physically, but I'm forever here for you guys. So it wasn't a bad transition. But then coming to Woodson, I mean, this year I adore my kids. Their chemistry off the court was what really, really got me. They're super, super tight. And that's not just like a clique. It's like all 12 of them are all together at all times. And it's been amazing. It's definitely been a journey worth it.
Mhm. Did anything about coaching at Lewis make you a better coach? The fact that you have a majority population with demographics, not necessarily basketball first.
Yes.
Did that make you a better coach? That kind of challenge.
Absolutely. It was a humbling experience, right? It forced me to think of the game from a different perspective. So instead of always trying to get the X's and O's and the wins, now let me shift my focus on how to develop stronger women, stronger players, get these kids out of this environment to next levels. And the biggest thing, patience. Because at that school it was again we had so much more skill sets that we had to develop more than the actual game, and I had to learn patience through it all and to celebrate the little wins too. So
Yeah. Well, great, Coach. Well, Let's start with your team this year. And I saw the Robinson game. Very impressive talent. A Sabina Nidri. I
yes,
mean, her stats just jump off the page. Uh,
yes.
22 points a game, 50% shooting from the field, averages nine assists, 8 steals, and 7 rebounds. Are those authentic stats?
She was again, she blossomed into her game this year, which was funny because when I took over last year, I'm kind of a coach that can see potential early and I can see what kids really can do. And out of all the kids that I had coming into this year, there's something special that each one of them can do. And when it came to, we call her Bean, when it came to Bean, I always wondered with her, are you trying to play ball at the next level? Because you really could do it. And last year it was like, literally all the way up to probably about a month ago, she was like, Coach Lee, I think I really want to play. And her game and love for the game just like switched. And I don't know if it was what we've created over here and what she's been, but what you see is what I saw since the day that I met her. So I'm just excited that she's finally executing and displaying those talents.
Is she getting the kind of interest that she desires right now from colleges?
Because it's so late, it's kind of hard. But she does. There's a couple of coaches that have expressed interest in her, so it's just developing. Where she wants to go. I know there's a couple schools she's kind of already locked into that she wants to go. So the walk-on option might be where the route she takes. But I'm just excited that she wanted to play at the next level because I always thought she should have from the beginning.
Well, it's nice that she has an open mind. I think too many of our athletes, they focus too much on sports. And then when it
Yeah.
comes ready to go to college, if the sports doesn't work out, their academics aren't there to carry them through. So it's good that maybe she's well-rounded. And now that her basketball is there, she can just, go to the next level. Let's talk about Emma Kamale. Also
Kamali.
great. I'm sorry,
Come
Kamali.
on.
13 points a game, eight 13 points a game. I forgot her rebounds, but she's an underclassman. She's a junior. She's you're gonna have to build her on her for next year. What has she meant to the Cavaliers?
She was actually the one that everybody talked about when I first got to Woodson. She was like the go-to for everything. And so she does. She probably basketball IQ, acumen. She has it above and beyond everybody because she plays this game year round. Her best friend is Georgia Simonson off of Robinson. So you can see where that lies together. So yeah, her career is very bright as well. There's a lot that I have riding with her, a lot that I expect from her. And the thing that I love about her is she loves that I challenge her. Makes her do things that is uncomfortable for her because she knows what it's going to take her, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, how about Kelsey Chain? Here's a player, a senior, 9 points a game, 57% from the field. Your team shoots a very high percentage from the field.
I think that's the latter stats.
Okay.
This postseason, they've been killing. I mean, look at where we are now. If you would have we had this conversation at the beginning of the season, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm in the second year of woes still. But Kelsey, she's the same thing. I mean, I've been seeing. I think the biggest thing with Kelsey is she never had anybody that really believed in her. And other than my assistant coach, Coach Eric, who's been with her for a while, I adore her. Our staff adores her, and there's so much that I just believe that she could do, and I really wanted to pull that out of her. She too, actually, this year, I had coaches ask me about her, and she never even thought about playing at the next level because she's just like, I never knew anybody would want me. And in my mind, I'm like, girl, yes, like you can do this. Now she's gonna go another direction. She's gonna focus on her academics, but just the option that she's had, like she was shocked that anybody even cared. So we were able to get her a little bit earlier. I think she might have a different mindset, but again, she works. She works. She outruns everybody. She outdoes everybody in practices. She's always trying to build and get better, and then she just does her thing in the game. So we're excited. Gonna miss her, but excited that she's having a great season, closing out her senior year.
Well, yeah. Well, let's hear about some of your other key players. When I saw you guys play the other night, and it was my first time this year. I thought your team was really balanced. You guys could handle the ball really well. You moved around and looked for the right shot. It didn't seem like you were. I was surprised. I didn't know Sabina averaged so much because when I watched you guys play, I felt like the team was very balanced.
Yeah, we have I don't want to tell too much. I got some secret weapons coming for the upcoming year.
Okay.
But the blessing is that that's what I said. I mean, one thing you can ask all of my kids. The day this year started from the beginning, I told them from the beginning, you guys deserve to be in a district championship. You guys are going to be in a district championship. You got at every game, even the games that we lost, because I saw the talent and the depth that we potentially had that would have taken us to so many different heights. And I think through the season, especially when we first beat Robinson, I think that was where kind of a switch went off, and it was like, oh, we actually can do this. And that's the thing. And so from there, that's what we built off of. Like, yes, you can. Like, you guys can be that undefeated, unstoppable team. You just have to believe. And I think that's the biggest thing with the kids that I have. It's not so much the talent; it's just getting them to truly understand what they can do and how hard and get after it, you know what I mean, and be successful with it. It's just getting them to believe that thing. So yeah, we got some depth. We got some depth. And we have some players this postseason that has stepped up and really turned the game around. Like Talise Alvarez, she's only a sophomore, and I pulled her up from freshman team straight to varsity. Very much like her counterpart, Vali Swaminathan. I did the same exact thing with the two of them, and they're just like they were never like basketball was not their end all be all. So they're learning this game, and in the midst of learning, they're excelling. And I'm loving what they could potentially be doing for our future.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier belief. Uh, your season. Woodson 18-11. Most of the losses came in the first half of the season. You guys have been really solid. Obviously, one of the best teams in the area. After mid-season, you beat Robinson. Two tremendous wins, facing elimination against West Potomac and Edison, which really are the reason why you're here. Was that belief the reason why the team improved so much, or did you figure something out about the chemistry that you needed?
I think it was a mix of both. Definitely led with belief, because if you don't believe in your capabilities, if you don't believe in what you can do, you're not going to excel to the heights that you could possibly get to. And I think through the ups and the downs of the season, the girls just finally was like, what do we have to lose at this point? That's how we walked into every single game. We walked into it. What do we have to lose? Everybody else around us has something to prove. We don't. So let's just go out here and give it our all, believe in our talents, believe in the game plan, and just execute and see what happens. And each game, when we walked into it, it was like, oh shoot. And then with that, bred the confidence. So now you walking into games like, oh, well, we really don't got nothing to lose, and we kind of killing it. So let's keep going. You know what I mean? But then added with that was the adjustments we made as coaches. There was a couple of things we adjusted plays wise, defensively, and it all worked together. So
How
can't be
important?
upset.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, Coach. How important to your season was beating Robinson? Was that a seminal moment? The fact that you can beat a top team like that?
Yeah. I mean, Robinson is coached by a great coach. The players that they have, I mean, I've known the players before I even got over to this district. They're a team that everybody strives to be. They've just held such a crown. So a lot of times when people go against them, it's just the name that defeats you before you even get there. Like, we're about to play Robinson, so that morale already automatically drops. And for us, it was like, yeah, we about to play Robinson. We about to show out. I think also too, the other funny thing about that whole win was we defeated last year West Potomac, and it was a big game because it was their senior night. And I don't know what about my kids that being selected to be somebody's opponent for senior night was such a disrespect for them, that they turned up and they beat West Potomac. So this year, Robinson did the same thing. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, hey, we're about to play. Let's get ready. And so one of my kids was like, yeah. And they picked us for their senior night. And it was like a whole thing that went across them. And they were like, all right, bet. We're going to go in here. We're going to play. And they showed up and they showed out. So it was kind of like, just warning everybody, if you choose us for your senior night, we're 2-0 going into people's seniors night. So I think that's kind of the morale that got them excited, and they've been just carrying that with them.
I don't think being picked for senior night's quite like being picked for homecoming. I think senior night sometimes it's just the timing, but if it worked for your team, you got to write it. Is it lost on you that you were going against two other African American great coaches, TJ Dade, and you're able to beat the legendary coach Diane Lewis? Is that something that you think about that these quality African American coaches at this high level?
Yeah, no, the blessing about it too, Coach Dade, Coach Cofield, Coach Diane, even Coach Colligan, out of all of them, they actually have been mentors low key for me. So they're kind of like, I'm kind of like the daughter, the granddaughter that comes in, and they're cheering for me low key. They don't want to lose to me, but they always give me high quality advice. They always give me encouragement since I've been in this whole thing. So that's been the blessing with this whole thing, is just like, I love what I'm doing. I love where I'm going, but I'm also being led by people who've paved the way, who are not ashamed and are territorial with what they're doing. They're like, what can I do to make you better? What can I do to elevate you to get to the levels that you aspire to get to? So that's the awesome thing about this. Yeah, I beat two greats, but at the same time, for me, it was more so these greats that had led me and allowed me to get to this position as well.
Did you feel guilty at all ending Coach Diane's season?
But I did feel guilty. The only time I felt guilty was when I had to vote for Coach of the Year between her and Cofield. I didn't feel guilty beating her because Coach Diane, I love you to life, and I know you're gonna see this. She beat up on me every single year since I've been coaching in high school. So to finally get one, that was like, woo, good gracious, like, thank you. Finally, all this work that I put in is finally paying off. But no, yeah, I didn't feel guilty then, but I did feel guilty when I had to select between her and Coach Cofield, because both of them are amazing to me. So that was the only time.
Yeah, I love the video, and I already messaged you this when you you're celebrating, you're trying to be cool, but you want to bring out a big smile because was you trying to low key, give your team dap while you're going down it. But that's a wonderful moment. Let's talk about the
Yeah,
West Potomac win. The West Potomac got the state last year because I know that because I interviewed Coach Colligan. They had a
yeah.
really good team. This year they were solid as well. What did you think going into that game, and were you confident you could beat them?
Same thing. I mean, what do we have to lose? Everybody that we played against going into states were people that all have the credentials and, again, accolades to be here. And we're just like, hey, let's see what we can do. And that's literally what I came into. I think that, well, this season, the West Potomac was the only team that we did not beat this season leading up to that point. And I knew that we could. There was just different factors that in the initial games that I knew why we lost. So going into this game, I told our kids, listen, third time's a charm. Let's get after it. Let's play and have fun. That's always been my thing with them this postseason is have fun in this opportunity because nobody expected us to be here. So what do we have to lose? So enjoy this moment, go hard and enjoy this moment. So that's just how I played it just exactly like that. And I felt good going into that game. And so I knew we were going to pull out that game. So
Yeah. Well, I got you a date with Robinson and Georgia Simonson. So again, I watched the game, really enjoyed it. The game was a 50-50 first half for sure. Felt like it could go either way. Slowly but surely, Georgia took over the game. And I've seen her play on videotape before, many times. I've never seen her live before.
mhm,
And she's a really impressive player. The way she's always in on the post and out of the post, she gets the ball, swings it fast. She handles the ball. She defends. She's a leader. She's cool and calm on the court. Makes clutch foul shots.
mhm,
My sister was an all-Met player at Robinson and won 2 state championships, so I know the Robinson women's tradition.
mhm.
George is one of those players you can't take your eye off of. She's incredible.
That's a bad girl. She's a bad girl. I can't get mad at her. She's also a kid that trains with my husband and I.
Oh, is that right?
Um,
Oh,
so that's been the funny thing about being in this district. Out of the 8 schools in our district, my organization, my husband and I actually train a lot of the girls in our district. And so it's a gift and a curse. I'm helping and prayerfully is building up these kids, and then they're turning around, they're using it all against me when I have to play against them. But again, it's the fun in it all. Like I love it. I love seeing her excel. I love seeing her getting to these new heights and challenging us. She definitely was their game changer in the second half. With us, I mean, when my point guard went out in the third quarter, I mean, that hurt us really bad, and it was really hard for us to recover from that. But Georgia is Georgia. I mean, you have to kind of find somebody who can meet her. And my post players tried it, but it was little things that we needed to do better with her, which I definitely know how to prep her even better next year. But yeah, she's that. I mean, that is a bad. And when she's determined, she starts to go. She's a hard player to turn off. So yeah, that is their saving grace over there at Robinson for sure.
yeah. Well, let's talk about Manchester now. You play Manchester tomorrow night. It's so exciting. You get to get on a bus. There's something these girls never forget their whole lives going down to
Yeah.
Manchester, playing a nationally ranked team. Now, Daryl is the most supportive husband you'll ever see. You think Daryl's willing to come in and guard Tia Wolfick for you tomorrow night?
I gotta put a wig and everything on him. Yeah, I mean this whole thing again is just crazy. So being in the basketball world and being married to somebody like Daryl, we're connected to so many people. So their head coach is actually my husband's good friend.
Oh,
So
is that
it's
okay?
like
Yeah.
it's like, do you call him and say, hey, give me 10 points before you
Right. Come on,
try to come
man.
out after us?
We're tight.
But I mean, it's the experience, right? Like we're who thought number 5 seed, and I looked at the final 8 that are in there, and all the final 8 that are in this state's championships is all 1 and 2 seeds from their district, every single one of us, and we're a number 5 seed coming in here that has got to the final 8. At there is nothing else that we really need to prove. So all I want my kids to do is to play as hard as possible. Yeah, I got a couple of strategies and a couple of things on my sleeve to try to slow down the momentum of a team like Manchester, but there's nothing for us to be scared of. It's the entire opportunity to embrace, to enjoy, to get a foundation because we'll be back. Like now that I've been here and I've literally hit all 3 levels in a second year, I'm gonna be more prepared next year. So it's good. It's good. It's gonna be an experience, and I'm excited for them because all my entire team, none of them have ever been to this level. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to say the least.
Coach, when you said your point guard got hurt, and I did see that. Was that Kelsey or Sabina that went down? That
That
hurt.
was Kelsey. Kelsey was
Yeah.
out at probably about like 2 minutes into the third. She was out for the rest of the game.
Now is she gonna play tomorrow? Oh, okay.
I'm hoping for her sake because it's a senior year. You know, I'm hoping she can. If anything, maybe we just tape her up and give her like 2 minutes so she's on the floor to get the experience. But yeah, that's the hopes. But again, I don't want to force her into anything that's gonna, hurt her health.
Yeah. So, what are some of the keys to success tomorrow? And when I say success, keys to going out there and representing and having a great experience. What do you look at some of the keys? I saw Manchester last year against Madison. Two absolute knockdown shooters. Tia Wolfik is the daughter of one of my favorite players in colonial history, Pete Wolfik, who was just an amazing post player. I was so impressed by Manchester last year in a losing effort. What are some of the keys to your success tomorrow night?
The first thing is going to be confidence, of course. I mean, they got to go in there. They got to be confident. They can't be, scared by any names or by whatever their titles are or what they're ranked. So that's the very first thing to overcome. The second thing is just to be poised and patience to execute our sets, to not get sped up by this team because I know I saw them looking at some film against them in Thomasdale because they beat the ranked Thomasdale, I guess, with about 2 weeks ago or so. So that's the biggest thing. And then just to try to contain the girl that's going to Georgia, signed for Georgia. Container as much as possible. Again, being that we just played Robinson and their main go-to player was a big, there's lessons to be learned from the regional championship that we'll be applying into the state quarterfinal. So that's the gist of it. As long as we play poise, as long as we get after it and do our job, I mean, win, lose, or whatever, I'll be proud of them either way. That's all I want to do. I want them to go as hard as they can and leave it on the floor. So
I'm happy.
we might.
Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but the way that we rolling, we
Who,
might shock the world.
That's right. That's what the plan is. I'm excited for you. The moment when you walk out with your team and you get that environment at VCU, at Manchester, it's going to be a hostile environment, but it's going to be a very proud moment for you as your coach in your first state game. What time are you going to leave tomorrow?
We'll probably leave about 1 tomorrow.
1 o'clock. Get dinner you guys get dinner there, or do you get dinner on the bus?
We got some food coming on the bus, and then some shoot around. We got a spot to go shoot around and all that good stuff, and then just prepare.
Well, Coach, I'm certainly happy for you. You did what you set out to do pretty quickly. I thought it'd take you a year or two more than that, but it just goes to show you what hard work and talent can do, and a loving marriage can do. And I really appreciate you and Daryl's work. You guys are an inspiration to all of us, and I'm so happy for your success. And so I hope you win, so I can talk to you again about the semifinal on Friday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's talk soon. Good luck, Coach.
All right.